Podnutz Daily, episode 319. I own a computer repair shop, and I have guests on the show that own or inspire to own computer repair shops themselves. And today, I am joined by Dan Hand from CMOnova.com. Hello, Dan. How you doing?
Pretty good, Tim.
Awesome, awesome. So I see here you're based in Virginia. So
Correct, right?
tell me, Dan, how's the weather there in Virginia?
About 100 degrees every day for the past 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, a little warm.
Is that, are you guys kind of accustomed to that up there, or not
No,
so
it's
much?
usually, no, it's about 10 degrees higher than normal.
Really? Yeah, man, all across the states, man, it's been like really freaking hot this summer. It's unbearable. Well, I
Yeah,
think I've said it last week. I think now Savannah here is up to 47 straight days of above 90 degrees. So it's just been brutal.
yeah. I went to
Been a
Florida
little.
for a couple of weeks and it was 100 degrees down there. Thought it'd be a lot cooler back here.
Well, in about 2 weeks, I'm going to be going to Seattle. And
Okay.
I'm sitting there looking at the maps today, and it's like, it's cool up there. It's like 78 degrees or something like that for the
Yeah, that'll be
highs.
nice.
Yeah, kind of looking forward to that. Sort of. That's a long freaking journey from me where I'm at.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, hey, before we get into some of the subjects you want to talk about, I want to talk about a brand of a computer that I got into my shop today. I thought it was really interesting. It just came in literally a couple hours ago. And this computer, it's a laptop. And on the top, it's called a Jetta. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but I know I haven't. Apparently this company, was making computers back in 1992. But I kind of was scratching my head a little bit whenever it came into my shop. But their website is www.jettaus.com. And I just thought it was really interesting because it was some other guys that I was talking with that have never heard of that brand laptop before. So, yeah, this one has a little bit of a boot up issue. Not really sure. I haven't had much of a chance to diagnose it, but it's pretty interesting. It almost looks kind of like an old school Dell 15-inch screen. I just thought I'd throw it out there if anybody's ever heard of that, or look it up. It's interesting. Have you ever heard of that brand, Dan?
Nope, never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be
It's
old.
kind of scary when you get a computer in a laptop and you've never even heard of the brand, because you're like, okay, are there drivers? Are there parts? Oh gosh, you know.
What operating system?
XP.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. XP. So I don't know. It's going to be an adventure, I think,
Oh, yeah,
to say the
definitely.
least. So, Dave, what are you going to bring to the table today? What would you like to talk about?
Well, thought we'd start off with the about the association computer repair business owners. Was on about probably a little over a year ago with Steve, and figured I'd come back on.
Absolutely. How's that going? Anything new with
Going
that?
great. Going great. I mean, today we actually officially went over 2,000 members. Now we got 2,002.
Wow.
And it's only been a little over 2 years, I think, since we actually switched over to the ACRBO, because first we started off nationwide and then just switched to association.
Okay. So I guess that branches out internationally.
Yeah, because when we were to just, nationwide, we had people from other countries wanting to join, and it sort of didn't make sense with that word in front of it. So we changed it. But I mean, now we have members. I mean, every time I think we pretty much touched every country, we'll get a new one. The other day we had a guy from the Congo join. So, I mean, UK, Australia, India, all over the place. So it's pretty neat that way.
Well, I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, we need. It's good to have an organization like that that accepts, knowledgeable techs from not just the States, but from around the world.
Yeah, it brings a lot of different things to the table because everyone's going to do something different depending on where they're at.
Yeah. So when you're a member, I mean, I know besides having that name behind you, and it almost gives you an instant kind of street cred to to other techs. I mean, what does being a member uh, confirm, or what can the customer feel comfortable about seeing that emblem?
Well, I think a lot of people ask that. And I think, I always hear a lot of times, well, is it a brand name or how many people really heard of it as far as customers go? But to me,
Mhm.
it's no different. Have you ever heard of, Sempo? No?
I think
Yes?
so. I'm not sure. I think
Yeah.
so. It rings a bell.
Or, even ASCII. Most people have
Okay.
never heard of those names and,
Yeah.
consumer wise, but if they actually see something on your website or on your business card, and then they can see what the name says, I say it does give credibility. I know it's worked in my business and I know for others it's worked because they've emailed and told me. But,
Hmm.
it's really hard to get a name out there. I mean, just like ASA, you see mechanics walking around with ASA stickers or, patches on their shirt. Very few people actually know what that means or how many tests are required.
Gotcha.
And, it's all about how you present it, I think.
I gotcha. Yeah. So I mean, it's all about, I guess, making your customer feel comfortable knowing that you are a part of a credible organization.
Right. Oh, yeah. Whenever I submit proposals, I mean, we do our corporate capabilities, things like that, put the certifications on there, and I always put on there the association logo. And it was about 6 months ago, I was at a meeting with a business, and I know they were interviewing other people. We went in there, and the lady started asking me about the association, and they actually are a plumbing company, so they belong to the Plumbers Association. Now, she has no clue about the Computer Association, but the sheer fact that we belong to it, to her, it was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I think anything that you can throw in there, even, I mean, even certs. I mean, there's absolutely, there's nothing negative about getting your certs. There's nothing negative about that. There's nothing negative about joining organizations that, like you're talking about. I mean, all it can do is be positive and be a helpful in your business and be almost like a foundation. So yeah, I think it's a really good idea. And you've been a member for quite a long time, and it's growing. Um, perhaps it's something that maybe I should look into. It might
Well,
be
we're
a
not
good
taking any
idea.
new members now that we hit 2,000, so you'll have to
Oh,
wait.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm out of luck there then.
No, it's good. I mean, besides it's a way to, network with other business owners. We have forums, have
Hmm.
a blog. There's a company lookup where you can actually submit your business, description, services, and that's all searchable by consumers also. We have a place on
Gotcha.
the website where consumers can go to and, request someone to help them. Any of those things that come in will forward to, whatever area that pertains to. If it was down in Georgia, if that's your area, then we just forward it to you. And that's up to you to deal with, getting a hold of the person. So we have a chat thing, all different ways. We run Jam Social on the board. So that's a way to interact with other members. So there's all different kinds. We just started a listserv group. Got about close to 300 members in the listserv group. And that's only, heck, probably about a month and a half old now.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you bring up a very good point there. And hey, I'm looking at your website here, and I noticed the picture of your shop. Man, that's a
Yeah.
really sharp looking repair shop there. How long have you been? How long have you been in that location?
I moved there probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh man, that looks really good. I mean, I guess that's on a busy street, but I mean that to me, if I was to have a computer repair shop, a physical location, which I do, but it's in my home, but out there on a busy road, I mean that would be kind of the ideal setup that I would want there. Um, so
Yeah,
what are
it's a
some
great deal.
yeah, what are some of your what are some of the jobs you do? I mean, you more of a residential type tech, or do you, business or remote or what?
Well, between my wife and the techs I have working for me, I think I'm more of a remote because I avoid the shop as much as possible.
Okay.
So I don't really go in that much anymore.
Wow.
They run most of, the day to day. And I was talking to Steve about it earlier. The whole
Hmm.
viruses or, upgrading, things like that. It just doesn't, turn me like it used to. But
Oh,
we also
really?
have not at all. But I like doing it. I like dealing with the customers, but I'm
Hmm.
not going to sit there and remove a virus. Especially when I got guys working there that want to do it. But we got
Ah.
business contracts, and those I'll deal with only because it's server,
Hmm.
routers, things like that. So that I enjoy doing, and that's what I'll stick with, and let
Ah.
them let them do the other stuff.
So you more like into the sales, like into the actual, being part of the business aspect of it, the one-on-one with the customers, the selling aspect of it.
Yeah,
Move. Yeah.
do a bit. I don't get out there. Right now we have about probably close to 15 business contracts, and that's about all I want because, I also do a government job too. So you only
Okay.
have so many hours in a day, but around 15 contracts we have, that keeps us busy. We've had them for a few years. It's great having that money come in every single month.
Hmm.
Plus, it's good hands-on, especially for the guys in my shop to go out there and get the hands-on experience with the servers and everything like that. So,
Gotcha. So I guess you
it
have
keeps us busy enough.
your businesses are on retainers then. Um,
Oh yeah.
which that kind of interests me a little bit. So, what are the types of things that you do on retainers? Obviously, maintenance would be one thing. They pay on a monthly basis. So, can you kind of give a little bit of a rundown of what you guys might service with the business with the retainer clients that you have?
Yeah, we get it. Well, and they have a contract, and they just depending on what service level they have, which in actuality they're all pretty much the same, no matter which level they go with. I always tell them to take the bottom level. They're going to get the same
Okay.
support anyway. And then
Okay.
we'll have a checklist of like 30 items. Once a week, we'll go in and run through the checklist on the computers. And every week they're going to have some little issue to resolve. So we'll resolve it at that time. If they have no issue, 9 out of 10 of the owners, I'll just sit there with and have a cup of coffee. They want to talk about their business. I'm more than happy to listen.
Hmm.
And I found just doing that. One, they like the personal service that they're getting. Plus, if you have a lot of connections in the community, I think it helps too. And we branched out and we even do advertising for businesses. So that helps them because they know we can provide that. But by the
Wow.
same token, the other day I was at a business and the guy's complaining about needing a roof at his house. So I told him who to call to get a roof for his house. I think the more people you're connected to, it's just much easier for these businesses to feel good that you're providing the service. So once a week, we'll go in to do that. And then anything else they need, if we have to go in, we'll go in. Otherwise, we do it remotely. I run a bomb guard, so we have all their machines tagged, connect to them 24/7. So any problem they have, we can just connect and just resolve right then.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not quite up to that level yet, but I'm working my way there. So it's really interesting to get input and information from guys like you who, have a few of those businesses under your belt there. So that's really good information. Hey,
I think
you mentioned online service for like remote support.
right.
What is your go-to software for your remote support?
We own a hardware device. We own a bomb guard,
Okay,
BOMGAR.
that is what you said. EOMGAR. Wow. Tell us a little bit about that. What is that?
It's an expensive piece of equipment.
Okay.
It's about $2,000, I think, for just a one user license. But it's hardware based. It's unlimited. You can tag machines. You can connect to as many as you want. It records the sessions. It does a gamut of things. I ran into it only because I saw up at Fort Detrick, the Army base, they were using one. So I contacted them about getting one, and they had them for small businesses, even though they were a bit pricey. But to me, it was worth it because I looked at it as a one-time investment, and it was, giving me
Hmm.
100% of the things I needed. Even though I've used the other things like Dual Desk, I own Dual Desk. I've used Instant House Call, Screen
So,
Connect.
hmm.
But the bomb guards are go-to for 90% of our work.
Okay. Well, Dan, can you give me at least one or two specifics on why you would choose BombGuard over some of these other mainstream remote support programs?
Well, when I did the
It's awfully
math,
pricey, so I was just,
well, it's pricey, but you figure there's some people out there with say log me in, whatever, paying, $50 to $100 a month. Well, I pay 1,900, and then I pay say 400 a year for maintenance. But if my BombGuard crashes today, I'll have a brand new one in the mail tomorrow. And any of my machines I had tagged, they'll have me set up on their end so I don't lose any connectivity. To
hmm,
me, I mean, it's all peace of mind. Equipment works, and I'm not one to nickel dime things. If something's 1,900 and it works 100%, I'm going to pay the 1,900.
gotcha. Yeah, that totally makes sense, man.
I mean, in the long
Yeah.
run, if you figure out the numbers, it isn't, it's, granted, people think 1,900 is a lot, but if you figure it out, it really isn't that bad. But we
Well,
do a
right.
lot of, we do a lot of remote with the businesses. I got to be able to connect to them. Plus, we own two, nationwide remote services, onlinecomputerconnection.com and
Hmm.
onlinecomputerrepair.co. So we're doing remotes all the time.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. And I think one of the main things that you did say there, I mean, you own a piece of equipment and you have what, darn near unlimited connections that you can have with that. So
Oh yeah,
that's,
I probably got 500-600 computers tagged in there at any given time.
okay. Well, there we go. That's big. Yeah.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
big deal. So I could
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
see where you're coming from on that for sure.
yeah. And it's
Wow,
real
man.
easy. It's easy for the user to connect. And I mean, you know, if you're going to tag them, you just tag and you never have to worry about it.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
what else you have for us?
Well, back to the association. Besides the ways, people can, talk to other members, things like that. We also have preferred vendors. Starting off, it was hard to get a few vendors involved, only because we didn't have that many members. But obviously, as time goes on and the more membership you have, the easier it is talking to preferred vendors. But we have, obviously Steve's plug for laptop repair videos. But every vendor that we have, they have to give a discount to the members. And typically it's going to be a higher discount than they could get somewhere else. And like an example is Screen Connect, which does remote, repair software also. We actually
Hmm.
just signed up with them to be a preferred vendor. We're the only preferred vendor they have. So the only way to get a discount is for people that are part of the association. And I think their discount's like 20% on their software. But
Wow.
we have them, Knight, we got Nine Technologies. I know Leaf talked about that on the show last night.
Yes, he
That's an
did. Yep.
online backup solution. But
Power by nine.
yep, same thing.
Yep.
I mean, they give $500 worth of free, on white label software for your company. We got Commit, FreshBooks, Reimage, GFI Max. We got web hosting, super anti-spyware. Like I said, probably 20, 25 different companies that all provide discounts to the members. So it works out real good.
Nice. These are some
Plus
pretty
we do
big
it.
names.
Yeah, we give a newsletter every month too that gets sent out. Typically I get hounded because it's usually a couple days late, but it's a free one and it's pretty nice, I think. Works out pretty well. And what else? It's all free. The entire association's free, but we do have people can be premium members, and that costs $25 a year. They get a certificate, membership card, and we also do scholarships. And if people are part of a premium member, they can do the scholarships. Submit people for it. And we've given out 4 so far. We gave out 2 this year. Actually, 1 was in Georgia this year, and we gave out 2 last year to high school kids, which I think is pretty nice for the community.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, it's been working out real good.
That's awesome, man. So what do people have to do to actually sign up to be a member?
Actually, just go to the site and it says join now. Fill out some information, name, address, phone, business name, things like that. And that also goes back to I actually had an email the other day from someone asking me about how do I actually verify the business is a business? And bottom line is I don't, and I'm not gonna. I mean, we have a
Hmm.
code of conduct, things like that on the website for the association, and I'm an honest guy, and I sort of think a lot of other people out there are too. So, And actually, when I read what they fill out on their join now, if I do question it, I'll email them.
Hmm.
Plus, we have other people looking at it too. And, a lot of people get denied based on what we see, or if they don't own a shop and, they may be a tech instead. But also, if you look at the big organizations like, Tech Alliance, which is TechServe, and other ones out there, 9 out of 10 of them aren't going to actually verify a business is who they say they are. I can ask someone for their federal tax ID or their business license,
Right.
but I'm not going to, follow up year by year and, fax me your business. People got 101 other things to do. So if someone, thinks they're going to get over by joining an association, so be it. And I can live with that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, most quote pizza techs, they wouldn't even bother even signing up for in a organization like this. I don't even think they would even bother. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good idea. You're right. I see Steve's laptop videos here
Yep. Yep.
being advertised right
Yeah.
on the front page of it.
Yeah.
So
And the
yeah.
other, just a major misconception that people have, and I figured I'd just verify it now. I make absolutely no money off of this at all. And I had one member actually a couple weeks ago. He dropped out of the association. Emailed me a couple times. He was disgruntled about other things, but his last email was the association's only so I make money. Now,
Hmm.
it's hard for me to verify it, but I mean, my wife will easily verify how much money I've spent on this association and not had a profit. And that's not the purpose of it. So any money we have, it all sits there. It goes out for the scholarships or, marketing material, anything we can do. And otherwise the money sits there. Or, for things done to the website customization, it might cost a couple dollars. But other
Hmm.
than that, no one touches the money that's sitting there. And there's other people that can verify how many people have paid, things like that. We have what's his name? Eric Arduni, Silicon
Hmm.
Wrench. He's on the
Yeah.
leadership team, but he has a login to the back end. He knows how many people have paid, where the money is, and there's Steve Kajener, Christine Roy, Doug Compton, and Jeff Leslie. But all them guys can verify anything as far as money goes. But I don't want people to think that $25 to me is not really a whole lot of money to be taking and hurting what we have built so far.
Absolutely. I think it's great, Dan, and I'm glad you're talking about it. I do have a question. It's something I just kind of thought about, and it almost has to do with piracy. I've seen people who use this ACRBO emblem on. Do you have a problem with people using that emblem who are not actually associated with your group?
I mean, if they're
When
actually not members, then obviously they shouldn't be using the logo. And I've only had, I think, 3 instances. I've had emails from consumers saying, "Hey, I noticed your logo on this person's site. I want to verify, are they a member?" And in these
ah,
3 cases, the people were members. But I've never had anyone email me and say, so and so is using the logo, and they come to find out they're not a member. I haven't ran across it myself.
okay,
It's
yeah.
conceivable, but I haven't ran across it.
Yeah, I was just curious, like the Better Business Bureau, there's a lot of special specifications you need to get in with them, and just, different companies, they'll copy that emblem and use it on their sites. I was just wondering if you knew of any issues as far as that goes with the ACRBO.
No, and every now and then I'll do a search in, different images and Google, things like that, and see how, different people that are using the logo, how they're using it. And
Hmm.
typically I can look at the names, and even though, 2000 is quite a few members, pretty much most of the names, the business names, will stick out when I see them. And I'll remember either seeing them in the forums or, somewhere I'll have seen their name typically.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good.
And
I
we
think it's,
also, this year, we actually had our first honorary lifetime membership award, and it went to Steve from Podnutz.
oh yeah, I saw that.
Yep, that was our first one this year.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah, I noticed
Steve's proud of it.
a lot of other associations do it, so I figured, we'd start it this year, and couldn't think of anyone better to have as our first one than Steve, for everything he's done for the community.
You know what? Wow. Has he ever? I mean, he's built just a great community here of techs. It's just can't say enough. And you're right. Who would more deserve it than Steve?
Oh
Um,
yeah, yep,
yeah. I think he was pretty happy about it. I think he was. Yeah, I think
yeah.
he was.
I was gonna deliver it to
He
him when
should
I
be.
was in Florida, but he didn't invite me to his house, so I couldn't
Oh, he
deliver it.
didn't? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Well, you got to be like special invite,
No,
you know.
actually, he did invite me, but I told my wife that I think he would have had a heart attack if I showed up, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, well, you could always bring it in, you know, the next time he gets it, maybe,
Oh yeah,
maybe you can hand deliver it, but
yeah. There might be some other way to do it.
there might be, I don't know, some kind of special sign up
Oh yeah,
list or
definitely.
something. I don't know. I've never met Steve personally, so
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, well, cool, man.
Yep.
So what else you got?
Well, besides the association, which that's the main thing. Obviously, run a business like everyone else, and
Okay.
going back to the contracts thing with businesses. I mean, I think that's big for someone, especially anyone starting off running their business. I think it's really important, especially with the way computers are going. If I think the whole break fix thing is just gonna, dry up sooner or later, and you have to diversify. I mean, I know with us, the business contracts are massive. Same with
Agree.
websites. I can do a couple thousand a month easily in websites, and I hear a lot of people the drawback with websites is they don't know how to do them. Well, most people know by looking at a website if something looks good or not. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's 90% of the battles. If you can at least identify a good website, well, my thing is get out there and find someone who knows how to build them
Mm-hmm.
and start offering website design and have them people build it. I'm not one to refer. I won't refer websites to other businesses, but I'll deal with it myself and have the person do the work. I mean, if you refer it, you may basically get a 10-20% commission. I have guys that do sites if I'm too busy, you know, I may give them 10% or 20%. And that's the
Exactly.
way. I mean, it's big money. I mean, like I said, we can do, easy 1-2 thousand a month just on websites.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I've been focusing on sort of recently. I've been putting my feelers out for knowledgeable technicians who know a little bit more of the IT side of things. I mean, I love doing the residential computer repairs. Love tearing into laptops, stripping out motherboards, screens, desktops. Still like to do the viruses, Dan. I still, I don't know. I still get I don't know, a rush out of defeating the viruses. I really do. And they're getting so, I don't know, they're getting really bad. The viruses now are just getting just flat out brutal.
Right.
And they're very hard to detect. And they're doing some really nifty things to hide themselves. And it's just really interesting to follow all that. But I've been looking into, and I've been taking actually resumes from other techs in the area who contact me, and I need to not. I mean, as bad as I love the residential. I need to branch out and do the business side of things. I get business calls uh, fairly often, and some of those I have to turn down because I don't know IT server, Active Directory stuff, and I don't want to get myself into something that's over my head. But so
Right.
that's why I am actively looking for technicians that I can refer to and send them out to work on these jobs because I just can't. That's where the money's at. I mean, there's pretty big money in the businesses. As far as the residentials go, you're right. I think technology is going to start moving to where I don't know. I think residential technicians are going to be, if you hang your hat on residentials, I think you might be doing the wrong thing
Right.
because the way the technology is starting to move now, I just think in the future with video being integrated. I mean, everything is getting to be smaller and smaller. One unit, one board, one PCB. Sure there'll still be viruses, but I don't know. I think there'll be less and less of a need for residential repairs, or on the other hand, there are so many of them now that are popping up everywhere. Craigslist, just I know in my area that there's these technicians are just popping up all over the place for residential repairs. So there's a lot of competition in that regards also. So I know you touched on that, and I kind of agree with you in that regards.
Yeah, I think the residential you have to do. I mean, I know a lot of people will say they got out of residential, they just want to deal with businesses. But to me, I mean, we do from, Fredericksburg, Virginia up to DC. If I didn't do residential in DC, I wouldn't have got some of the business clients I have because a lot of people own businesses. So if we go to the residents, they were happy. And next thing we know, they started talking about a business they own or someone they know that owns a business. And we've got a few contracts that way. So I mean, I will never get out of doing the residential because one, I do enjoy it. But I mean, bottom line is, you're going to run a business, you want to be successful and make money. And I don't see residential, at least in our business. I mean, my goal was day one when we started our business years ago. The first year I wanted to make 100,000. I had no doubt that's what I wanted, and we did it. And we've never not done it. But if I didn't do businesses, website, have service contracts and everything else, it would be hard to get that number. And I just think it's going to get even harder in the future. I mean, we started, doing that. And then we had a restaurant. They wanted security cameras put up. We had never installed a security camera ever. And
Yeah.
did a little research online, talked to a few companies. We did it. They were happy. And they had 8 other restaurants they wanted us to do. So that one job turned into, quite a chunk of money just for branching out and taking on that. And I think you got to be well-rounded enough to be able to provide those services.
Yes, and I see you brought up the security cameras. Wow, that is something that is very profitable. The equipment that you can find for doing that is relatively inexpensive, but what you can charge to install that, you can make money hand over fist doing that, and it's not that difficult. I mean, you have a DVR. That's just a what? That's a computer box with a motherboard, a hard drive, all the other stuff that comes with it, and you just have monitoring software, and then you just have cabling, cameras, and maybe what, an inverter, some type of a power inverter for your cameras there, and that's basically it. You plug it all in, you fire up the software, the monitoring software, you kind of configure it a little bit, and you're up and running. It's really easy, a lot easier than a lot of people think, setting up security, especially a basic, security system.
Yeah, and 9 out of 10 of the companies you deal with, if you're going to buy from them, I mean, the one company we dealt with, they pretty much walked us through our first install. Because like I said,
wow.
we had never dealt with it. And, I mean, they were great. I mean, they were available 24/7, and we asked the dumbest questions we could think of, and they were more than happy to help us. I mean, it was a great deal. And then obviously we used them for every other purchase we ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a convenience store that I'm just waiting on them to call me. I know they're going to call me because they called me once. Their DVR broke down, and it looked like, I think their video camera system is at least 8 years old. They have an old Dell sitting in there just chugging away with some really old security software on it, and their hard drive crashed on them. They called me. That's when I got a little hands-on. I went in there, and I figured out that, you know what, these setups are pretty darn simple. So basically, I just replaced their hard drive. I did a little research on the software they had installed on there. I reinstalled that software, and they were back up and running. And that's where I got my little hands-on of, wow, just how easy it would be to set up a security system for home or businesses like that. So I just know they're going to be calling me because it's been, maybe Dan, maybe 3 years ago that I repaired this. So, and I told them, I said, the next time this happens, we're going to have to just get you a new system. And I'm really excited because I think that'll be my first security system job. So
yeah, it can be big money, and it's going to get big in the future because a lot more people want it. I mean, that goes along the lines, though, the same with the business contracts. I mean, we got, for a vet, I think the end of the month we have a schedule to install a server and 14 computers. And I told my new bench tech today that, well, he's the newest one, that when that comes in, it's a Friday, Saturday job, it's his. So he's going, he's unpacking, he's going to set the whole thing up. So he has from now till then. I told him to read as much as he can about server and get that
Wow,
thing
dude.
going. And he's
Ooh,
looking
you're bolder
forward
than
to it.
me.
But it's not that complicated. I mean, once you do one or two, and
Yeah.
I think you'll get the hang of it. I mean, he did it. He's only 20 years old. He did a Votech school for IT, but you know, he's a pretty smart little guy, so he'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's my problem. I need to get my feet wet. I need to build me a server. I need
Yeah,
to talk to Matt Rainey
yeah,
and go back
yeah.
and
I
do a
heard
little
Matt last
homework
week
on
talking about the exchange offline that he did, and that brought back memories from many moons ago doing that stuff. And
really, yeah.
it's just you know, I know Matt's doing good, and you got to do the businesses.
I know, man. I have been honestly busy with the residential stuff. Um, but it's up and down. And I just hate turning down any kind of business that I get from a business, from a company, a business here locally that, I get a real bad gut feeling in my gut when I turn any kind of business down like that. So,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I mean, businesses are big. I mean, we just signed up with a law firm probably a week ago, a new contract.
Wow.
And since then, he's referred like two people to me. And then
Mm-hmm.
today, someone came in his shop, and I didn't even know that the lady worked for him in his office, bringing her personal computer. So not only do we have a year contract with him, but I mean, the guy's going left and right, just referring people to us. And it was all fluke because he called in the people he had doing maintenance for him,
Mm-hmm.
and his tape drive went bad in his server. So they gave
Okay.
him a quote to fix it. It was $2,800.
Uh-huh.
Their quote was get him a new server. The only thing bad was the tape drive in the server. And these guys, he had a maintenance contract almost 3 years with these people. So why they try to nickel dime this guy, I had no idea. But you know, once we told him what we could fix it for and we did it, you know, that was it for the other company.
Well, I will say, Dan, you're very confident, and you must have a lot of faith, because I would, in my position right now, to be doing server work for a law firm, I'd be a little hesitant on that myself. But
Nah, well, I mean,
but you've been in the field for quite a while, so you know definitely more knowledgeable in that than I. So.
yeah, because most of these small businesses, you know, a server and some computers, you know, but obviously years ago I was doing, you know, 20, 30 servers, you know, 2,000 users. So a little
Yeah,
office with a server to me is, you know, 9 out of 10 times they're not using the server to its full potential anyway.
yeah.
So to them, it's just a big computer that, you know, supposedly is good.
Hmm. Well, cool. With that, man, I'm going to do a little commercial here
All
for
right.
Fab's Auto Backup. In case you guys haven't heard, Fab's Auto Backup 4 for technicians was recently released and has breakthrough improvements over the already amazing Fab's Auto Backup. Fab's Auto Backup is a key program for PC technicians needing to back up customers' data and transfer it to new machines or installations. This new version is mostly designed for professionals like computer repair shops who need to back up data for several user accounts at once, or to save data from unbootable computers. Like Fab's Auto Backup 3, it makes the backup and restore tasks easier. This program handles the backup and transfer of emails, documents, and much more. Podnutz guys are going crazy about this program. See what all the buzz is about and find out more at podnutz.com/fabs. Please use that link, podnutz.com/fabs. Use that RUL if you want to support Podnutz. So with that, we'll move on. Hey, I think another thing I'd like to touch on real quick, since we're talking about, liabilities sort of, and, we're talking about setting up video, surveillance systems and law firms and such, a little bit of protection. I recently became LLC, and it's not as difficult as you might think. Dan, are you LLC?
Yes.
Yeah. Basically, this is called a limited liability corporation. And basically, what that sort of does is really it provides you with a layer, an added layer of, oh, what would you call it? Protection, I would say, from like, say, people nowadays are sue happy. They like suing people. And basically, LLC just protects yourself personally, your person, from anybody suing you for your personal assets like your car, your home, your bank account, your whatever else you own personally. It blocks them from suing if somebody was to, God forbid, you get in a situation where your business gets sued or something that you did that brought on a lawsuit for uh, you know for something that happened for a customer or something. There are two types of LLC. There's a corporation and a disregarded entity. I am disregarded entity, so I'm basically still a sole proprietor. So I can't upgrade to a corporation under LLC. And if you were to have employees, you would definitely want to do an LLC under the corporation. Uh, but anyway, it's not that hard. It didn't cost me too much. I think it cost me $325 for my lawyer. Who you don't have to have a lawyer. You can go to LLC, or I don't know where you can go to get. I think you can go to LLC.com, or you can just Google LLC. But you can sign up there. It's a little complicated. I went the attorney way. I had a lawyer fill all my paperwork out and kind of get me started. I think it was like $325 for my initial payment, and then after that, it's just $50 a year. $50 a year, and you're covered. And you have LLC in your name, which also makes people and customers feel more comfortable with knowing they're dealing with somebody who is serious about what they do. Did I miss anything on that, Dan? Do you agree?
I agree that obviously, I think it's important to do that to cover yourself. And, in a perfect world, that's the way it's going to work. But, bottom line with, the businesses I deal with, I'm pretty sure that if we did something wrong and they had to get money from us, whether the LLC protected us financially, it would pretty much be done for the business. So,
Yeah,
I think it's
definitely.
good to cover yourself financially, but I think you're going to really got to watch yourself with any business only because of how it can hurt you.
Absolutely. It's not there for you to feel comfortable about being careless,
Right.
or go ahead and sue me, I'm covered. No, I mean,
Right.
if you get yourself in a legal situation, even with LLC, I mean, you could potentially lose everything in your business.
Right. Oh,
And
yeah.
but it's like buying insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You don't you know you don't really think you need it until you need it.
Right.
And you're
Yeah.
glad it's there. But somebody like me, it gives me a little peace of mind, because nowadays people are sue happy. And I
Yeah.
also want to let all of our listeners know that it's not expensive to do, and you won't break the bank. You do have to get an EIN number, which is an employee identification number, even if you're a sole proprietor. And that's all you need in a business name. And that's really all you need.
And I think just like going back to the other things, I mean, just those 3 letters, LLC, some people may think it doesn't matter, but if something's going to help my business and 3 little letters might help my business, I'm going to put those 3 letters down. An LLC isn't going to hurt your business. I mean, it's going to look good.
I mean, it's the exact same concept as ACRBO,
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah.
Got to use, use everything you can.
Yeah. I mean, you get a lot of those questions, people trying to start a business. Oh, do I need to be LLC? Oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? Well, becoming an LLC is easy, and it's relatively affordable. So it's one thing to look at if you're starting off.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely affordable.
Yeah. Dan, anything else you want to touch on here before I think I have a couple of emails I can read. Anything else you want to bring up?
Just a couple, only thing with the association, obviously now with, that membership base we do have, we're actually going to start bringing on a couple more preferred vendors. And it's actually going to be, towards the VAR managed service provider route. Obviously there's Kaseya out there, level platforms, virtual administrator. But here in the near future, we're going to bring someone on who's going to give a pretty good discount to members, and anyone who's going to start doing business contracts. That's definitely something they want to look into.
Awesome. Absolutely. Very good. Very good. All right. How about we move on to emails here? What do you think?
Okay.
All right. Let's see what I can mess up here. This is from Niall. Actually, his username is Saddle Sores 1000, and he's been around here in the community for quite a while. Let's see if I can get this email right here. Hi, Steve. I've fallen behind on some of the shows, except Nuts at Night, as I always need a laugh, and have just listened to Podnutz Daily 307. Okay, and he kind of categorizes things here. Fees. In it, Brian mentions he has a problem raising the subject of his fees if the customer doesn't ask. My technique is to present them with a copy of my work order based on the TechNibble business kit. I ask them to read it while I have a preliminary look at their PC. Contained within the work order, I have a paragraph that explains my fees. So much for the first hour. See how much for the first hour, how much per half hour beyond that, and the reduced rate for that for any work done back at my shop. After a minute or two, I ask them if they are okay with it, or would they like me to explain any parts of it to them. I have never had anyone object to my fees. I'm not cheap, as many of my clients come from recommendations from previous customers. Payment. As far as not getting paid, I've only had one problem. A woman in my hometown asked me to look at her ancient laptop. She more or less knew it was terminal and wanted me to confirm it and give her data onto a DVD. I did the work, and when I called her to arrange a time drop off the laptop to collect payment, she said to leave it a couple of days or she was short of cash. 2 days later, I called by and she paid me in cash, but she was £10 short of the agreed already discounted fee. Obviously Saddle Sources from the UK. £10 short, huh? I had to make an instant decision. Should I take the laptop away until she comes up with the full fee, or accept her at her word that she would send me the £10 next week? Looking around, her place was a real dirty mess in a crappy part of town. Nice looking new laptop over in the corner. Grr, is she so dumb she thinks I won't see it? I decided I didn't want to waste time returning with the laptop and data DVD when she had full payment, so accepted her word that she would send me the missing £10. Obviously, I suspected she wasn't to be trusted, and she proved that to me. She proved that to be the case, and it's been months, and I've not heard from her again. So I'm £10 down on a job where I got someone out of the stuff as far as them losing their data. But I've learned a lesson worth far more than £10, a lesson that could save me much more in the coming years. And he's got this in quote and italic. Here's what Saddle Sore sums this email up with. Most customers are nice, regular people who will be grateful that you did a good job and fixed their problem. A small number of customers are not nice people and will screw you if they can. Never return a computer until the owner confirms on the phone that they have full payment available. As ever, thanks to you and the other show host for the excellent job you do. Cheers. Nice email there, Niall. I would say definitely. You know, the number one reason why you're in business is to make money, not lose money. Now I know there are situations in every business where you're going to lose out, and that just can't be helped. But where you want to succeed in what you want to do is shore up any way possible that you could keep from losing money. And one of those ways is, not bending, not breaking. Just you always want your money before you return a computer, before you do any service, before you order parts. Get your money first. Right, Dan?
Well, the parts thing we don't do. We used to do it, but not anymore. I mean, we never get, ripped on the parts. People are going to pay us when we do the parts for them. But anything else, yeah, especially when you're starting off, can't afford to be doing things like that. And, people start taking advantage of you. Next thing you know, you're really in the hole.
Yeah, they'll do it too. I mean,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
little things like laptop power plugs. So I get calls for that a lot. Hey, I need a power adapter for a Dell Inspiron such and such laptop. Are you sure? Are you sure it's the power plug? Oh yeah. Okay, well, it's going to be this much, and what's your you need to pay me first, credit card
Right,
number, whatever, before I order that part, because
right.
I used to not do that, and I got away with it a few times, but there are some times I got burned, and not doing that again.
Right.
Get your
Yeah.
money, get your money.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can't do that, especially just starting out the business.
yeah. Okay, let's see, this email. See, I guess we could do this here. Okay, this is Tim and Matt. I assume this is for Matt Rainey too. Um, Rob Della Rocco sent this email. I don't know who I should send this message to, but I think this might be a good topic that you might want to add to your show. I've had several laptops come in with hard drive passwords. Wow, hard drive passwords. I'm really not good with that. This isn't a simple Windows password that I can reset, nor is it like a BIOS password, but it is very similar. It's some kind of password saved on the hard drive that when PC boots up, it asks for the password before it even gets past the post screen. I even have tried to connect it up to USB sled on other PC, but still will not read it. Do you know of any way to get the data back or to even wipe the drive so I can restore the PC instead of tell them they need a new hard drive and order a restore disk? I've had several people forget the password and have been unable to help them. Thanks, Rob. Passwords. There's BIOS passwords, first off, that I think will stop you from booting from even during post, before post. There are several ways, depending upon the model of the laptop, you can get past that. But the hard drive password, I don't know, because I've always thought if you have a hard drive password, if the drive isn't encrypted, you could at least pull the drive and still pull the data off of it. Now, this guy here saying that he can't even do that. So I'm not even too sure. I think this drive may be encrypted. Dan, what do you think?
Well, I'm thinking it's either encrypted or it's actually the BIOS password he's talking about. I mean, especially the part where he said he's had a lot of customers. I don't have any customers or many customers that have hard drive passwords. They might have the BIOS password, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was a BIOS password problem, Google it, because there are several different methods. And there are also people on eBay who sell, um, password reset for certain model laptops. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of experience with clearing passwords on BIOSes or hard drives. So that's about the extent of my knowledge on that. Hey, if you want any help on that, maybe post it up in the Podnutz forums or come on into TeamSpeak there. There's some guys in there who've done a little bit more than that than I. So yeah. Now, as far as emails go, I think that's all I have. So Dan, what else do you have? Anything else would you like to talk about, or are we going to wrap this thing up?
That's about it. I mean, just if someone hasn't joined the association, look into it. You know, it might be a good fit for you. And I got to do my one plug only because if I don't, Steve will send me an email about my book, computerrepairbusiness.net. You know, for those starting out in the business, even those already in the business, you know, not only do you get the book, it's actually a new version, which is an ebook, but you also get access to the document section, you know, and there's like over 30 documents, contracts, maintenance contracts, you know, big ones, 7-pagers to 18-pagers, you know, almost any document you can think of comes, you know, available. You just edit it, put your name on it, and use it for your business.
Very nice. Very nice. And also, you know, guys, hey, technicians out there, computer repair business owners, sign up. ACRBO. Well, unless they reach 2,000 members and they don't take you.
We'll take you, Tim. You got to sign up today.
Okay, I got to sign up today. You know what? I think I'll take you up on that. Well, great. And Dan, where can we find you? Any place you want to plug? Your site, Twitter, anywhere?
No, acrbo.com, cmonova.com.
There you go.
Now, one last thing is the whole, when you mentioned Twitter, I thought of it. People, I think a lot of owners need to think about the whole Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, the whole gamut of social media, which I think is great. I think you really need to concentrate on how much time you're putting into it, because you need to look at your ROI and make sure it's really benefiting you. You know, otherwise I think you can get consumed with it, and you know, what you may think you're making money, you're really not making what you should be.
Yeah, I agree totally on that. I mean, using your social media to work for you, you don't want to spin your wheels on that.
Yeah,
and
it has a place, but you have to make sure you know what place it is.
Exactly. And that's another thing that takes time to build. I mean, you really have to stick with it and let it grow. And you got to be kind of smart on what moves you make there in that area. Google Plus just launched here recently, so I'm really excited about that. See how that can help benefit businesses or get your name out there.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anyway, I think we'll end the show. Dan, you've been a really great guest. Thank you very much for coming on, man. You're always welcome here. You're a big contributor into our forums there at podnutz.com/forums. We have, you know, still have some openings for guests on Podnutz Daily. You can sign up to be a guest on Podnutz Daily at podnutz.com/guests. You can find me on Twitter at Timster_. Please, 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 I'm getting low on emails, guys. I need emails. You can email me at timster@podnutz.com. Ask me some questions, computer repair, doesn't matter. For Podnutz Daily, let me know. So yeah, with that, you know, thank everybody for supporting Podnutz and Podnutz Daily and all the Podnutz shows, of course. So until next week, everybody just keep fixing those computers.